UFC Fight Night in UFC Vegas 86. Hermansson versus Pyfer takes place this weekend, and I'm going to go through the full card breakdown and in detailed prediction, starting with the early prelim opener of Daniel Marcos versus Aoe Quileng. I'm going to go for Daniel Marcos over Aoe Quileng. I think he's just going to be better than him over the 3 rounds and get a 30-27 victory. But for real, though, Daniel Marcos is good. Should have lost to Davey Grant, but Davey Grant's good in his own right. More like he has power. He's also technical as well, Davey Grant, and he should have lost that fight, but he held his own. It wasn't a blatant robbery, even though I do believe Grant won 2 rounds to 1. But yeah, Aoe Quileng got KO'd by Eamon Zahabi, and his wins are just mid. You know, we look at his wins, like he's fighting Daniel Marcos, but he got a win over Johnny Munoz Jr. He's just not special anywhere, Aoe Quileng. You know, Eamon Zahabi KO'd him badly in the first round. Jay Perrin is not that good, and Cameron Else is not good either, and he lost to Jeff Molina and Cody Durden. So I'm going to go for Daniel Marcos getting it done. We move on up the card. Hyder Emil versus Fernie Garcia. I'm going to go for Hyder Emil pretty easily here. I think he's going to beat up what's his name pretty easily, Fernie Garcia. I like Fernie Garcia, but he is facing good fighters, but he's just hasn't gotten a win in the UFC. Probably would have been cut soon if he didn't take this on short notice. And Hyder Emil has a good cardio, had a high grappling pace match versus that last guy in the Contender Series. And Fernie Garcia just isn't good anywhere. He just isn't good anywhere. He's just a journeyman. That's what he is, and he just doesn't... you'll never see... what do we see from Fernie Garcia? He doesn't have big KO power to look out for. He doesn't have fast twitch, just muscle in general. He just doesn't... Well, he is in good shape, but, still. You don't see any good grappling from him. He's just a loser, in my opinion, on the feet. And I think he's going to get out-grappled here in general. So I'm going to go for Hyder Emil getting this one done. We move on up the card. Zach Paga versus Bogdan Guskov. I'm going to go with Bogdan Guskov. I like Bogdan Guskov. This guy is a fucking style of Pavlovich. He's legit Sergey Pavlovich. That's how he fights, but he's a little bit less skilled than Pavlovich. Pavlovich is more skilled with his punches and knows what he's doing. For Bogdan Guskov, sometimes just looks down at the floor and does a Kamaru Usman and swings without even looking at his opponent and the target. But I think Guskov's going to win. I think he took on Ozdemir in his debut. A tough fighter, Ozdemir. You're not Yuri Prohaska, my man. And you lost to Volkan Ozdemir, but kind of gassed out. Took it on short notice. I think a full camp. Bogdan Guskov will be able to win over Zach. One of the tough losers. Pog, I think he's going to go out there and get it done. KO in the first round. Usman KO'd Pauga in the first round. And since then, he has wins over Jordan Wright. That's it. Jordan Wright's ass. And Modestas Bukauskas beat him. So I'm going to go for Guskov getting it done. First round KO. Brutal. He got that in his regional scene fights. I think he'll get it done here. We move on up the card. Jeremiah Wells versus... what's his name? Max Griffin. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Wells. I'm just speed running through this card. It's not really a great card again. It's another weak Apex card, but it's 10:51. 10:56 now. Never mind. It's nearly 11. So I gotta hurry up and post this before 12. I'm gonna go for Jeremiah Wells. I think the difference maker is they're both old. Both veterans, I guess. Max Griffin's a veteran, but Jeremiah Wells just hasn't had enough UFC fights to call him a veteran yet. I think he's going to go out there and beat Max Griffin. Max Griffin, one weakness with him. What is the one weakness? You cannot strike him out range. I don't think Wells will do that. What can you do, though? What can you do to Jeremiah? What can you do to Max Griffin? You can take him down. And Wells has got good grappling. Lost his last one to Carlson Harris. But he's got good grappling. He's a good grappler in general. I'm going to pick him to beat Max Griffin here. And I think he'll get the job done by sub some point in this fight. Or just get a decision. I'll say decision, close decision. Griffin's got power, but I don't think he'll put down Wells. I know he should have lost his Matthew Semmelsberger, but he out-grappled Semmelsberger in that fight, which isn't special, but I think Griffin will get out-grappled here. So I'm going to take Jeremiah Wells to get it done. We move on. Up the card. Devin Clark versus Marcin Prachnio. I'm going to go for Marcin Prachnio over Devin Clark. No, I'm not. I'm going to go for Devin Clark over Marcin Prachnio. I think this is a pretty easy prediction to make. Prachnio won't outstrike him on the feet, I don't think. He could, but I don't think he will. You know, I don't think he will. And I think Clark has power in his hands. Difference maker is, no one's going to out-grapple anyone here, I don't think. If anyone's going to grapple, it's going to be Clark. Who did better against William Knight? And who did William Knight actually throw hands against? Devin Clark and Devin Clark. Prachnio fought a Knight who... what's his name? Marcin Prachnio, yeah. He fought a guy in William Knight who did nothing. And he won a leg kick tapping Adesanya decision. Devin Clark fought a William Knight who wanted to trade in the pocket. And he KO'd William Knight. Crazy, right? That's why I think I'm going to go for Devin Clark. Plus, I think he's just better in general than Marcin Prachnio, who looked bad against Petrino. Yeah, Clark's good. Yeah, he's coming off a loss to Nzechukwu, but Nzechukwu I think would also beat Prachnio. And Prachnio's got a bit of a chin issue, so I'm going to go for, what's his name getting it done? Clark. We move on. Up the card. Luma Lookboom versus Bruna Brazil. Why is this card so long? I don't know. I'm going to go for Luma Lookboom. I think she'll beat Bruna Brazil. Bruna Brazil beat Shanna Dobson her last fight. Shanna Dobson's not that Irish girl. You know who I'm talking about? She's not that good. Shanna Dobson's not that good. You know, and before that she lost to Nadine Gomez, who Luma Lookboom beat. So I'm going to go for Luma Lookboom. I think she'll get it done here with the striking, with the grappling. She only lost to Lupita Godinez in a very close fight. I'm going to go for what's her name, get it done. Luma Lookboom. I think she's just better overall. And I think she'll get the win. We move on. Up the card. Timothy Kiomba versus Pelagioki. I'm going to take Pelagioki in a TKO in the second round. But I think Timothy Kiomba would win on full camp. The fact that he's taken on 4 days' notice is sad, in my opinion, because this is a close fight, and now I'm echoey now. But yeah, I'm going to back out. I'm going to go for, what was I going to say? I have to keep quiet, because people are sleeping. I'm going to go for Pelagioki. I think he'll get it done, but I think Timothy Kiomba has got power in his hands. And I think on a full camp, he would do a lot good here. I'd probably beat Pelagioki. She's taking on 4 days' notice. I don't trust his cardio. Both guys are really good, coming off the Contender Series. I got Pelagioki, though. I think he's got a full camp here. He's been training this whole time for Damir Hadzovic, who's terrible, but he's at least been training. I got Pelagioki. I think he's going to get the job done by finish in the second round after a storm in the first. We move on. Up the card. To another fight, which is... What other fight is there? Oh, Trevin Giles versus Carlos Cortez. I'm going to have to take Carlos Cortez. Trevin Giles is good. I don't like him, though, man. And he also has a bit of a chin issue. Like, he is good, Trevin Giles. I just don't trust him beating Carlos Cortez, who's a Brazilian killer coming up. I just don't trust him not winning this. Like, I look at this as like a Gabriel Bonfim, who subbed Trevin Giles and rocked him and then subbed him for the guillotine. And before that, he went to a competitive decision against Preston Parsons, where he should have lost. And then he fought Louis Cosce, who's terrible, you know? And then before that, he lost to Trickus Duplessis. No shame in that, but Michael Morales KO'd him. He has a bit of a chin issue in the counters, so I can see him pressuring here and losing to Carlos Cortez by counter KO. So I'm going to go Carlos Cortez by a counter KO in the first round. This guy's got power in his hands. I think he gets it done. We move on up the card. Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan. I'm going to go for Armen Petrosyan here over Rodolfo Vieira. I think Rodolfo Vieira is too old. And I kind of see this as like an Armen Petrosyan versus like a Cal Baralho, except worse for the Brazilian. He did well against Baralho. Petrosyan did really well against Baralho. That's the difference. Why is there so many ambulance sounds at 11? It's stupid to me. But yeah, I'm going to go for... What's his name winning? What's his name? Armen Petrosyan. I think Petrosyan gets it done at range. Just keeps at Rodolfo Vieira, who did beat Cody Brundage, who isn't the worst fighter in the world at this point. We cannot say that. Brundage has kind of proved he's not the worst. But I think he's going to lose. Yeah. He did well against Baralho, though. Could have gone his way. And then he beat Christian Leroy Duncan afterwards. I got to go for him over Vieira. I think he'll stuff the takedowns. Or just win on damage. Maybe get taken down, but win on damage. That's what I'll say. At range, keeps at him. Boring decision. We move on up the card. Michael Johnson versus Darius Flowers. I'm going to go for Michael Johnson. Self-explanatory here. Yeah. I think he'll get it done over Darius Flowers, who didn't even look good against Jake Matthews. He did take it on short notice and altitude, but Johnson's got this. More skilled in the pocket. Arguably more power. Just Darius Flowers has the physique to where it's like a Paulo Costa situation. Whereas they have the physique, you think they're going to knock you out with one punch. It's only an Ngannou situation there. That's only worked for Ngannou. Costa doesn't have any power. That's why he won't KO Whitaker nor beat him. And Flowers won't KO Johnson like a Fahea can. You know, Johnson should have beaten Jamie Mullarkey. I rewatched that again. Should have beaten Jamie Mullarkey. I think he's just going to go out there and win it pretty easily. And Flowers doesn't grapple. So I think he'll win like a first round wild exchange KO. Michael Johnson gets it done. We move on. Up the card. Brad Tavares versus Gregory Rodriguez. I'm going to go for Gregory Rodriguez. If I was going to pick Tavares to win this, plus, by the way, I don't think Rodriguez can out-grapple Tavares. I don't think he's going to out-grapple Tavares. But if anyone's going to do that, it's going to be him, mixing it up. But I don't think Tavares can KO him. If you can't KO Weidman, I'm not trusting you to KO Rodriguez. Alright? Bruno Ferreira KO'd him. It happens, you get caught. Whatever. But still, I think Rodriguez is going to put a whooping on Tavares and batter him with elbows. If Bruno Silva can be able to do that, I think that, what's his name will as well, Gregory Rodriguez. So, I have to take Rodriguez. Look great against Tululan. I think he gets the job done by KO brutally in the first round, or just gets a scrappy decision win. But I'll go TKO. We move on. Up the card, Ihor Potieria versus Robert Brzezinski. I'm going to go for Ihor Potieria losing this fight badly. Yeah. It was supposed to be Duraev versus Brzezinski, but Duraev pulled out because of visa issues, and guess what? He got cut from the UFC. Got cut from the UFC, bitch. Fuck you. I'm going to go for Brzezinski, though. He's going to whoop Potieria in the first round. Ihor Potieria is good, but I just don't... He lost his last few fights to Roberto Bellato. That Bellato dude KO'd him. Fucking Oberg beat him as well. Nigabrianu beat him. You only beat an old Shogun. Prime versus Prime, you would get smoked. And even then, he didn't even look good in that fight. I think Brzezinski's going to brutalize him in the first round with a head kick. We move on up the card. Dan Ige versus Andre Fili. I'm going to go with Dan Ige. I like Andre Fili. Good he's getting a ranked opponent. Nathaniel would beat him. That's what we're looking at. Nathaniel would beat him. These guys, other guys beat him as well. Brito beat him. I don't know why he's getting it over Brito, when Brito legit slept him in the first round. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go for Danny Ige, catching him. Because he's got good hooks, Danny Ige. Looks good against wrestlers as well. Looked good against Mitchell in that fight. Could have arguably won maybe on damage, but I did give that 2-1 Mitchell. That was a weird one, but still. Mitchell should have won, I think, in hindsight, more I think about it, but still. Ige looked good. Feely beat Lucas Almeida. Let's not overhype. Like, good KO. It's Lucas Almeida, who's the legit bottom feeder of featherweight, you know? So let's not overhype that too much. I think Ige's going to put away Feely, but I hope Feely wins. He's cool, but I don't think he'll win at range here. He could grapple. He could very well grapple here, but I just don't see it. I think he'll scrap and get KO'd. We move on up the card in the first round, by the way, or second round. We move on. Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. I think it comes down to, I'm going to go Joe Pyfer over Jack Hermansson, but I think it very well comes down to what happens in the first round. Jack Hermansson with a huge, over a year layoff versus this active savage in Joe Pyfer. You know? Active savage Joe Pyfer. He's got good grappling. He's got big power. Hits harder than Ganu, apparently. I gotta go Joe Pyfer first round brutalized KO. Not brutalized. I don't know why I spit that word out, but brutal KO. Jack Hermansson doesn't have a Vittori chin. He gets rocked a lot. He's got good kicks, but I just don't see it. I think for him to play his game is Pyfer just gassing out, going for the finish. And I think Pyfer's going to get the KO early in the first round on Hermansson. And plus, if the ground game, I think Pyfer wins that as well, because Delidze last weekend against Mavov didn't even look that good. When he had Mavov on the ground, Mavov escaped easily, is where Hermansson was fucked. You know? And they both equally scold Delidze on the feet. Just proves the jiu-jitsu of Hermansson is not that great as we really thought. So I think Pyfer can win there as well, but I think he'll be over before that. Pyfer KO. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace.